Hi, everybody. Jack here with you on a Monday. I'm recording this early, so if something happens Monday afternoon, I probably won't update you on it. But I'm getting ready to head to the road, so I thought I would do this. He might pop up here. I got Duke on my lap, so he's helping me here this morning. So today, I'm always looking for topics to discuss and share my opinion with, because that's what it is, my opinion and my insight on issues. And people, as I always say, they agree or disagree, and trust me, they do. But I was at the grocery store over the weekend, and it was either Kristen or Kirsten. I think it was Kristen. Was stocking shelves, and we met, and I said hi, and she said hi, and she said, "Can I make a suggestion?" And I said, "Of course, love to hear it." And she said, "Well, you talk about this and this in your updates, but people just don't get it." And I was like, "Well, yeah, you're right to some degree." She said, "So you need to talk about what I'm about to talk about." So when it comes to the state of Michigan and this COVID situation and how the governor is doing it and whatnot, her comment was, everybody wants you to impeach the governor, but. So I just thought I would go through some of these steps. Now, just to explain it to you, how do we get rid of a governor, whether it be Republican or Democrat? How does that system work? Well, there is the recall. Now, I know a lot of people are not happy with Governor Whitmer. I get that. But you need to know a couple of things. At the height of this pandemic situation, my memory serves me correctly, her approval numbers in polling was at like 67%. It's now slipped, I think the last I saw, 53%. But that's still a slight majority of the people in Michigan who think she's doing great. That's why when I do my updates and I talk about the people who, Madam Governor, they need to start, I think, seeing the imbalance of the approach. So just remember that when you talk about, why don't you do this? Well, maybe more people disagree with you than agree with you, right? It's something to think about. So recall. As I know, there's been a couple of 3 recall efforts for the governor that have failed. Either their ballot language didn't make muster with the courts and whatnot, or they just failed. So keep that in mind. A recall petition is not an easy thing. Then there is the idea of impeachment. All right, let's talk impeachment. And I've discussed this before, but let's go over it again. Not everybody watches every night. So, yes, we could try to impeach the governor. Now, think about this. When we look at the national impeachment efforts that have happened over the years, Clinton and then Trump, right? All hell breaks loose. People are not happy. It divides. It does this. So, in an era where we're trying to bring that rhetoric down, does it make sense? Now, bear with me here before you start pounding on the keyboard telling me why it does. Does it make sense? All right, let's carry this through. The House of Representatives, which does have a Republican majority, we impeach the governor. We send it on over to the Senate for a trial, okay? The Senate is already missing 2 members because they got elected for local roles, and they're not going to be replaced till August and then November. So they're down a couple. We've got to get 2/3 of the voting block. That means we would need Democratic support. The odds of that happening are slim and none, and Slim just left town. All right, so let's take it a step further and say we were able to impeach her. That means we get Garland Gilchrist. Okay, we impeach Garland Gilchrist. Oh, then we get Benson, Secretary of State. Oh, then let's impeach Benson. Oh, then we get Attorney General Dana Nessel. So that's where we're at. It ain't gonna happen, so why put us through it? Now, let's follow that out. But Jack, what she's done in the with nursing homes is criminal. She should pay. Don't disagree, all right? For the discussion points here. That is not the legislature's job. There's nothing we can do there, even though we might want to. So how does this happen? Well, potentially a county prosecuting attorney may take that up and sue the governor, much like we're seeing now with Flint Water and Governor Snyder. That's why the Flint Water situation is really one that's kind of surprising, because it could be setting a precedent that a governor could be sued, right? So there's that. But really, the other thing to watch here is who is really the chief law enforcement officer in the state of Michigan? I pause to let you think. Attorney General Dana Nessel. Now, Attorney General Dana Nessel is not what I would consider the most moderate individual in the world. She is very liberal. So she and the governor are on the same team, if you will, if you think about it that way. So is she going to fight back or prosecute the governor on things? It's been shown that she won't. For example, when the state said, hey, we can accept ballots after the election date at 8 p.m. It's okay, we can do that. And it went to the Court of Claims, and the Court of Claims said, yeah, we can do that. Attorney General Nessel and Secretary of State Benson did not fight it up the courts. Why? Because they were okay with that decision. It took the legislature to step in and in this case say, wait a minute here, you can't do it, it's the law. And the appeals court found in our favor, and 8 p.m. on election day was upheld. The point being is the person who could really be pushing back against the governor is on the same team, and it ain't going to happen. So that leaves it up to the people of Michigan who voted her in, right? That's where we're at. So when you say recall her, that's up to the people, and so far that's failed. And even though her approval ratings have fallen, they're still just above the waterline, right? And when we talk about impeaching, yes, we can do that, but it won't happen, and we just create more division. But we could do something legally. That would take a county prosecutor to do it, and it'd be interesting to see if the courts would even uphold it, but it's possible. More than likely, it would fall on the Attorney General's office, and it ain't going to happen. So that's where elections matter, right? 3 years ago, Dana Nessel was running against a Republican. She won. People voted her in. So when you think about this, I get it, and I understand the emotions, but you also have to look at this reasonably. I think our job as representatives here is to keep pushing back, to keep explaining things to people. Over the many months, now a year, with COVID and whatnot, I've fought back and pushed back on a lot of rumors and falsehoods that because the internet said that this is so, and it really isn't. So it's important to think these things through. I understand the emotions. I understand the anger. I do. But what can we do legally? And that's the crazy thing, the legislature's job is to come up with thoughtful laws and so on. And we've asked to put a time frame on the Department of Health and Human Services epidemic orders. Doesn't get a signature by the governor, right? So we're screwed. We don't have the 2/3 to override. So it's all those kinds of things that happen. It might not fit the happy public narrative, but when you look at reality and where we're at, you got to read the room and you've got to see what's happening. So I think what's important, again, agree or disagree, I think what's important is coming forward and talking about things like high school athletics. And people are, well, nursing homes, that's more important. But when you're talking about the people, who's the audience? Who's the jury we're talking to here? Right? And we've got to win them over. And that's why I say when I talk about these things, I could be preaching to the choir. I really could. Or I could be trying to talk to those people who are good, I'll say moderate, in the middle. They're not sure. Well, we're doing this right. I'm trying to show where maybe things aren't right. All right? And there is a voice of opposition. Now, does that mean I can go riding in on my horse with my lance and slay the dragon? No, I can't. But I can try to persuade, and I can try to get an idea through and change the narrative. And that's what I've been trying to do. High school sports is a classic example. Science and data, science and data, science and data. That's what we've been hearing. But what's the science and data that opened the schools? I'm happy that she's opened the sports. I really am. But the question is, what's the science and data? A week ago, you said, hell no, we're not going to open them. We don't have the science and data. But a lawsuit pressure from the legislature by way of an oversight committee and a public rally, and her poll numbers have shrunk. Better open up schools. Science and data's changed. The data, at least, has changed. So that's where we're at. I know it's not the answer people want, the white knight riding in on a horse, but that's where we're at. So, to Kristen at the grocery store, thank you for the topic. Hopefully that helps. I'm at 10 minutes, so I want to cut it off. But think about that before you start keep pounding and telling me that I'm a horse's patoot. All right? I'm out of here. Have a great night. We'll talk again on Wednesday.